what do you make of this new Neyland Entertainment District that they're putting together? Maybe we have pictures of that we can pull up a little bit later, but basically it's going to be a Marriott built on top of the parking lot at G10. And if you're familiar with Atlanta and the Battery around the Braves Stadium, I think it's going to be similar to that. By the way, is this week or next week, they had a University of Tennessee Day at the Braves Stadium where you could get like a little cooler thing with the Tennessee insignia, but you had to make a donation to the athletic department to get the ticket. Anyway, I thought that was either crazy or really good marketing. I haven't decided. But basically, if you're familiar with the Battery around the Braves field, it's going to be very similar. So Caleb, love it, hate it, or wait and see?
Wait and see. I'm very mixed on it. I have to be honest. And Trevor took the comment right out of my mouth. There is a little bit of crapping on history with this entertainment district. I'm not against entertainment districts, but where you said it, it's literally, you won't be able to see Neyland Stadium from parts of the Tennessee River. And I mean, the backdrop of Neyland Stadium on the Tennessee River is part of what makes Knoxville's fall setting the best. I get it. I understand it, but I don't want a giant new Marriott just obstructing the view of Neyland Stadium. I mean, I'm worried that America is going back to what it did architecturally in the 70s and 60s, where they just obstructed so much great turn-of-the-century architecture to acquiesce to the suburban lifestyles that everybody became a part of, with hideous buildings and just making everything about driving to places and not making anything walkable anymore and just wrecking cities in the process. And I'm sorry, that's a total tangent for a different day that I went on, but I just want to point this out with something like Neyland. That you really have to put a giant Marriott right in front of the stadium, between the stadium and the river? Like, you really want to do that?
My concern is, and you brought this up when we spoke earlier this morning, is the parking issue, is the tailgating issue. And I remind you that Hooker's Hangouts, One Asia Cafe, treat yourself to authentic Asian cuisine, handcrafted from guarded family recipes. 5 locations to choose from. AsiaCafe.org, AsiaCafe.org. It is right down below. Best Asian cuisine you're going to find in Knoxville. But Caleb, where are all of these people going to park? And I know that's been semi-addressed, and it was addressed in the Knoxville News Sentinel. There's all these things that you can do, but hit the like and subscribe button if you absolutely hate hearing, which I have before, oh, you're going to have to park at the ag campus. I mean, that to me, the parking issue, bringing more people downtown in a highly congested area, frankly, makes no sense to me. I would have a regular trolley system from the Strip to Neyland Stadium, and that would have been in my entertainment district, because for goodness sake, if you haven't been on the Strip on Cumberland, they've really messed it up. It has no more bars. It has no more restaurants. It's all student housing. They should have been ahead of it, nipped that in the bud, and had the ball trolley that goes from Cumberland, when it had the bars, and it had all the restaurants, to the stadium. Have it constantly running. But instead, you're just going to increase traffic, and at the end of the day, you're going to increase cost, because I can tell you the Battery in Atlanta is a draw in and of itself. It doesn't even matter if they were playing a basketball game there, or sorry, a baseball game there. It doesn't matter. You could still go down there and have a good time. Caleb, you and I could go down there and have a heck of a time. So that's just going to drive the price up on everything, and you're going to be paying more. I'm all for being forward thinking, and I don't want to sound like an old fuddy-duddy, but this sounds like throwing gas on a fire that's burning just fine, or putting another log on a fire that's just crackling away in the middle of winter. I don't understand the obsession with this Neyland project. I don't.
This is what they want. And because, they go to Alabama and they don't, and they're jealous of what they see in Tuscaloosa in this regard. And yes, people are going to get mad at me because I said Tennessee's jealous of Alabama, but in this regard, they are. Alabama Strip, Dave. You've been to Tuscaloosa. The bars, they're like 2 blocks from the stadium. You hang out on Alabama Strip and you're 2 blocks from the stadium, and all the tailgating is right around there. One of the problems with Tennessee, and there's really no way to fix it because of just the way the campus evolved over time, and it's no one's fault. But the tailgate scene for Knoxville is not centralized at all.
Let's just go ahead and call it like it is. It's horrible because it's a mountainous area. It's a hilly area, I should say. And it has a city right next to the campus. I mean, it's bad. I've been to all the SEC stadiums with the exception of Missouri, A&M, Texas, and now Oklahoma. And it is right up there with the worst as far as
it is. I mean, now the football Saturday, like Neyland Stadium, right around there, the backdrop, best backdrop for a football Saturday in the fall possible.
Agree.
But the tailgate scene is one of the worst in the SEC. And it is, and you're right. It's because there's a city. And also, like, think about it, the Strip. You got to walk a long ways from the Strip to the stadium. And a lot of people tailgate on the Strip. It's all over the place where people do tailgate. And I think they're trying to centralize it. But you're right. How do you centralize it when you've just limited parking? Now, I want to be one of these people. This is my tangent. I'm okay with limited parking because I'm not a fan of so many people driving in this country as it is. I think we need to make things more walkable in this country, and we need to make it easier for people to get to places without having to drive. So I love your idea of a trolley, Dave. That is awesome because I think we need to. I, in general, think a problem with American culture is we've lost our sense of community because we built everything around driving. And I would love to encourage people to have things next to the stadium where they can walk and things like that. I'm with you. Just accept if you're Tennessee that you're not going to have the best tailgate scene in the SEC and there's not much you can do. Revitalize the Strip with fun restaurants and bars, tailgates in the parking lots behind there, and have a trolley that goes straight to the stadium. Like that, have a series of trolleys that regularly pick you up and take you to the stadium that you can just hop on and hop off.
I'm all for that. I think that's a better idea than what they're going to do. But I mean, it's going to happen. Listen, you and I have slightly different views based off what you just said on driving. I love driving. I love cars, but I don't like sitting in traffic. I think you and I would agree with that. I don't like seeing red lights sitting in front of me, and that's what's going to happen. And don't tell me there's not going to be growing pains. There are. Apex Apparel Group Design. Get 15% off your first order if you call Tyler or mention Off the Hook Sports. Design, brand, and market with Apex Apparel Group Design. Again, 15% off your first order for your business. That's right, your business. And they can do the spirit wear as well. They can do shirts, hats, koozies, whatever you need. Please call Tyler and tell him Off the Hook Sports sent you for your business. Any promotional item you need, 865-919-3001, 865-919-3001. And the other thing that is a little bit frustrating to me is I love football. I told you I woke up at 3 a.m. and couldn't sleep one night and watched James Pierce highlights, watched James Pierce game film. I don't know, and I want to hear from the message board on this. What is it like when you take your family? Does the missus need something else? Do the kids need something else to be entertained? Those that go to Neyland Stadium, is it falling short of that? Because I know they've added all the televisions where you don't miss anything if you go to the concession stand. I know they've added more restrooms, but what's the experience like at Neyland Stadium? And do we need a Marriott? And there's going to be a bunch of clubs there too and places to party. So Caleb, you go from including the people that aren't tailgating, that aren't going to the game, that are tailgating. How many people do you think are in that little 10-block area on an average Saturday? It's more than 100,000 because a lot of people just like to tailgate and don't go to the game, right?
Yeah.
So
yes. And some people tailgate and get too drunk and then forget to go to the game.
True. Been there, younger man. 125,000 at least. So if you build all these bars and stuff, is that going to be 150,000 with less parking?
And here's the other thing. If older people don't like it, and college kids who may like it are broke because they're in college.
Oh, college kids will not be able to afford anything down there.
Nothing.
No.
I don't know who this is for. And
Caleb, if you go to the Battery in Atlanta, you better go ahead and say to yourself, I'm going to spend a C spot. I'm going to spend $100. And I mean by yourself, not even with your lovely wife. I mean, it's $25 to park. And I don't know who is going to go down there, Caleb, when there's not a game.
And you know what's so funny about you saying this? And Travis just brought it up because he said kind of like Broadway on Nashville. When people try to create a culture that is manufactured. I'm going to tell you guys just this quick story, having been born and raised in Memphis. Last year in Nashville was actually my first time staying overnight for a period of time in Nashville in about 20 years. And the last time I did it, I'd stayed on Broadway. I was going to a Titans game in 2005. And I thought Broadway during that time, Dave, very authentically captured Nashville in the music scene, didn't it? 20 years ago?
Yes.
I went to Broadway when I was on Broadway last year for SEC Media Days. I'm like, this is just any random city with a bunch of bars on a street now. There's no culture. I'm like, you're putting on a cowboy hat and playing the live music, but there's no culture on Broadway anymore in Nashville at all. They were so obsessed with overdeveloping it that you don't even feel like you're in Nashville. And I have friends who came down during SEC Media Days for the, I think it was the Ed Sheeran concert at the time. And they're like, I thought it'd be like more country music. I didn't think not like hearing more, but they all said they thought it'd be like more authentic country. And they're like, no, it's fake. And I'm like, that's what they did. They manufactured it and they ruined Broadway, a historic, beautiful street in Nashville. Because I thought it was like Beale Street when I was younger, and it's not like Beale Street anymore. And you're with the Knoxville Entertainment District, you're taking away from the culture of the backdrop of the Smoky Mountains at Neyland Stadium, which is the most beautiful setting in all of college football.
So our poll question is this. I blanked the Neyland Stadium Entertainment Center. Love, hate, I want to wait and see.
I'm talking myself into hating it more now.
53% say want to wait and see. Here's the other thing. Could this be Danny White's first big mistake? I mean, really, should an athletic director be pushing for something like this? This gets pretty involved with private enterprise, private business. And I know that he is incredibly talented in that regard based off his resume. But Caleb, man, should an athletic director be pushing for having buildings built?
I think this is evidence. This is the first bit of evidence of Danny White's experience being an athletic director at a smaller school trying to build a brand. And as you know, Dave, there is a difference between trying to build a brand and trying to maintain a brand. Tennessee is maintaining a brand, is it not? It is a brand. Like if whenever Phil Knight passes away and whoever becomes the CEO of Nike, they don't need to come in and be like, I need new ideas for Nike. No, you just need to figure out how to keep Nike ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Like, and Southside Brewer, I appreciate you say don't care should be an option. But if you go to the games, you're going to care if you have to park 5 square miles away.
Which is why there should be the trolley. You brought it up, a trolley. Mass transit in Knoxville.
And you know what you do? You call it a volley. Jump on the volley.
Oh my gosh, and Nico Iamaleava playing volleyball is a billboard on the side. Dave, we have just come up with an amazing... Let's start a business right now. The Knoxville Volley.
Trevor says Disneyland Danny, he's just waiting for Danny to put in a lazy river somewhere.
No, that's a great point. That's an amazing point. And by the way, he was at UCF for 3 years where Disneyland is because it's in Orlando. This is what... I'm not a fan of the Battery, Dave. I'm going to be honest with you in Atlanta because you tout the Battery. I thought Turner was better. Turner was incorporated into the history of downtown Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm not touting it as I like it. I don't like it. I like Turner better.
Yeah. DC just tried this. They tried to move the Wizards out of DC, the Verizon Center, which for those of you who don't know is in the heart of Gallery Place, the perfect spot for Washington sports. And they tried to move it into Virginia and build this whole entertainment district. And luckily, the people of Virginia voted it down because they're like, I don't want that out here. And they were all like, we could just go into the city to see the Wizards play. We don't want them coming out here. So, I think I don't understand it takes away so much from the character of places. Part of what I love about sports stadiums and historic sports stadiums, Dave, I don't know how you feel about this. I love sports stadiums that are incorporated into the history of the area they're in.
I like that. Yes.
Like, yes.
I'm good. I'm good with that. The Neyland Stadium was not an incredibly exciting place to watch a game unless it was close for a long time. And they tried the third down for what? And that was just pure stupidity. And they've gone to the lights and the explosions from the fireworks and everything. And I'll be honest with you, I think they've got it pretty darn perfect. So if you're asking me, love it, hate it, wait and see, I just wouldn't change a thing.
Mark has the best solution. Mark Carter. Build it across the river and then build the bridge trolley. Have a bridge and trolley. You can walk across the bridge to the stadium.
The Brawley.
Take a trolley. The Brawley, no. Or no, just a walkable bridge. Build a walkable bridge across. There is a walkable bridge across the river, right? A walking bridge across the river.
It's a train track.
Okay, build another walking.
You shouldn't walk across that, probably.
Never mind. Have a trolley that goes across, but also build a walking bridge across the river, and have it on the other side. And oh my gosh, Mark, you should be in business. You should be in developing. This is genius. Build it across the river.
You know, Mark's probably right, but you want to hear the sad part about it? Because that's where Cooper Mays lives. The other side of the river is almost full with student housing and luxury condos for people that want something in the city because they usually live out in the country. I mean, it is almost full. I'm not saying you couldn't do it. I love the idea, but you would have to stop some stuff like now, like tomorrow, and say,
"Oh, you're right.
Stop building stuff because we're going to build an entertainment district."